All eyes widened in fearsome awe as the great Leviathan rose from the depths of the green waters. Seawater drained in pathways down the scales and horned spine of its massive form. The great creature took calm, steady breaths as it regarded the ship of Vikings who had summoned it with intelligent orange eyes. The Leviathan wasn't accustomed to being summoned these days. It had perhaps been a century or more since humans paid him proper homage and respect. The Leviathan used to be a god to these puny mortals. They used to bring him ships filled with offerings and sacrifices. They used to sing songs, tell stories, and even say prayers to him. But that had all quieted many years ago. At first, the Leviathan was saddened by the ebbing worship. For a while, he was angry. Admittedly, there was a period over a decade or two where he sank ships out of spite alone. But that only seemed to push the humans further away instead of regaining their previous worship. So, the Leviathan stopped attacking ships and retreated to the wondrous depths of the sea. He decided to forget about the pitiful humans. The old days of being revered as a god were gone. Apparently, they had outgrown such customs. Such a pity. The Leviathan did miss receiving ships filled with treasures and sacrifices, but he had learned to live without it. He was even getting used to it, but then one of the old summoning stones the humans used for centuries to request his presence was dropped into the waters of his home. At first, the Leviathan wasn't sure how he felt about being summoned again after all this time, after being ignored for generations. He answered the call mostly to satisfy his own curiosity. As soon as the Leviathan beheld the Vikings quivering in their boots on a ship that was apparently barren of any offerings, his feelings towards being summoned snapped into acute focus. The bitterness overcame the Leviathan so sharply that he could taste it on his purple tongue. Who the fuck do they think they are? The Leviathan said nothing. He waited for those obtuse humans to explain themselves. A Viking male with a long blonde beard and holding up a large red shield stepped forward to speak.
"O great serpent of the Leviathan! What? I'm a Leviathan! If you are going to address me, do it properly, or fuck off!"
The Vikings all shifted uncomfortably from foot to foot. A female in the crowd harshly whispered to one of her companions if the Leviathan just told them to fuck off. She seemed irritated. Her friend rightfully shushed her. The Leviathan's bright orange eyes narrowed.
"Oh, great Leviathan!"
The blonde Viking continued with slightly decreased confidence.
"We have come to seek your wise counsel, as our ancestors did in centuries past. We fear an ancient evil has Where's your offering? Are you all supposed to be sacrifices? Humans taste awful. Where are the prize cows and horses?"
The Leviathan was growing more impatient by the second. The blonde man blinked stupidly for a few seconds.
"The legends we can recall about you, great Leviathan, didn't mention anything about offerings. Perhaps your greatness would allow us to bring you our best cows after you have helped us in the ways you used to help our ancestors, who worshipped you so faithfully."
The woman on the ship became more irritated.
Is this thing serious? It won't even let Olaf finish, and it's demanding offerings? This was a bad idea. The great Leviathan is clearly an asshole.
Her companions rushed to silence her. "Shut up, Brenda! Gods damn it!" The blonde man tried to speak again, but the Leviathan had lost interest in him.
"No! Let her speak!"
The Leviathan demanded with heavy contention.
"I'd love to hear what Brenda has to say to her god."
The other Vikings all tried to defuse the situation and make Brenda go below deck. But she would not be contained. With a brashness born of spite, Brenda stepped to stand right in front of the huge beast.
You're not anyone's god anymore! Our ancestors finally realized that you're just a greedy bitch! That's why we stopped wasting time on you!
A surge of disappointment and pleading came from her companions, who desperately tried to get her to step down before she got them all killed. The Leviathan couldn't make sense of anything they said in the din of dissent. Blood was pounding too loudly in his ears. Never had a human dared to speak to him like this. Never. Fucking Brenda was going down. He whipped the tail of his great body, causing a great wave of seawater to crash over the deck of the ship. All but 2 of the other Vikings rushed to expel the water from the deck as the ship slowly began to sink. He should just bite her head off, but that wasn't satisfying enough. The Leviathan needed her to know that he was better than her in every way. He wound his great head to be nose to nose with her and said, "I guess you know all about greedy bitches. You were obviously raised by one." The fire in Brenda's eyes flared in wild passion. Rage overtook her as she brandished her battle axe and leapt at the Leviathan, screaming,
Don't you fucking dare talk about my mother!